You talked there about your anterior approach to hips, and Mandy sent in a question a few minutes ago asking about whether anterior is preferable to posterior hip replacement. I have read that you can have minimally invasive posterior replacements as well as the anterior approach, which I think was developed for that very reason. What's your opinion on the two approaches?
So I was trained as a posterior hip surgeon. I mean, in the UK, essentially you are largely these days trained in posterior hip surgery. So a lot of what people do, and I guess their attitudes towards it, are formed strongly by that. I'm a bit of an anomaly in the UK. I mean, I know you've had an anterior hip surgeon on before, but I think, we kind of all know who the other ones are, because we are at the moment a small proportion of UK surgeons. Just as out of interest, I mean, if you look across at the other major sort of orthopaedic nations, such as Australia, Europe in general, and America, they are very much moving towards anterior replacement surgery, and they've been doing it in Europe for decades now. And so it's not an unusual thing to do. In terms of, I think that the term minimally invasive is often very poorly defined in orthopedics, and can mean anything from the length of the scar to the amount you disturb during the operation. It's probably the second one of those that's more important. And I guess the reason I was attracted to the anterior approach, it was largely a surgical curiosity that led me there, because I wasn't being obviously pushed into it by anyone I knew. So apart from one colleague of mine, and so you basically don't cut any muscles during the anterior approach, and so it's a way into the hip that doesn't involve dividing any muscles. Whereas no matter what your posterior approach to the hip is, you have to divide some muscles in a slightly abnormal way to a greater or lesser extent. I guess my experience with it has been that in the main, and it isn't across the board, but in the main, I find patients are up on their feet quicker, they're more comfortable quicker, they're back to normal life quicker. So it's that early stage rehab that it seems to have quite a significant impact on. And in fact, there's multiple RCTs that demonstrate that fact. They also demonstrate that in the longer term, functional outcomes, at least as we explore them at the moment, don't seem to differ hugely between the two. And so my take on that, which is slightly different from the posterior surgeons, is that means it's a good approach because I get the early benefit without any downside. And the equivalence to me is not a reason not to do it, because I can see some benefits to it as well. I think it's largely a philosophical question in the UK. I think that there's a lot of resistance to it at the moment, and I don't really understand that because I don't go around telling people to do it instead of something else. That's what I do in my practice, and I find it helpful. I also, as a young hip surgeon, in terms of my patients, I'm thinking about their next operation as well. And we do know that revision surgery does have worse outcomes in terms of complication risks and longevity. And I just wonder whether if we, go to use an approach initially that causes very little disturbance and then have a sort of a native surgical plane for the second one, whether there might be some benefits there in the long term. I can't prove any of that. That's just my personal thought.